Welcome to episode number 4 of the Gift of You podcast. I'm your host, Esther Ballin, and this podcast is all about your personal development and your inner transformation. You came into this world to be the truest version of yourself and who you are. And when you show up as a different version of yourself day in and day out, you are not only doing a disservice to yourself, your own joy, your own peace, and your own life, but you're doing a disservice to the people and to the world around you, and most importantly, to your creator who put you into this world to be you, to be who you are. So in this podcast, we unpack and we explore different topics of transformation. Now, one of the most profound and under-discussed transformations that we go through in our lives is the transformation and the transition into motherhood. We hear about some of the transitions that happens when it comes to becoming a mother, the challenges, the sleepless nights, the unexpected loss of self. We hear about the positive aspects when it comes to becoming a mother, like the unparalleled joy and the levels of contentment that you experience that you really just don't get anywhere else. But where do we talk about the inner transformation that becoming a mother demands of you? We're talking about healing from our own childhood through raising our children. Where are we talking about the inner transformation that becoming a mother and raising the next generation demands of you? Becoming a parent, multiplying and populating the world is the first mitzvah in the Torah. It is the most important thing that we do as children of God and as human beings. So let's dive into the silent transformation that happens to every single woman when they become a mother. We have a really special guest today. Her name is Riki Eisenberg. She has a beautiful community on Instagram and on her website where she talks about unfiltered motherhood, the good, the bad, the ugly, the in-between, and she really is very open about a lot of the topics that we're going to be discussing today. Hi, Riki. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Hello.
So I told everyone in the intro before that we're going to be talking about the inner transformation and what happens when you become a mother that nobody talks about, essentially. So like everybody sees you becoming a mother outside in real time, but like what's actually going on inside. And you have an amazing page that I
Thank
love.
you.
And I
Thank
have
you so
loved
much.
from the minute you started it. I'm pretty sure there's not one post that I haven't liked. About called Unfiltered Motherhood, where you are so real. And right before I went into the intro, we were talking about how like real and like open and honest you are about literally everything. Like you do not sugarcoat a single thing. And we were talking about how you just had a baby and you live far away from your family and how like horrible and uncomfortable that entire process is. And like, yeah. So anyways, that's why we
Yeah,
brought us in conversation.
it's uh it's uh it's a lot. I basically made the page because I didn't have what I hope other women can have. Knowledge wise, support wise, community wise. I just think it's not possible to like be in a positive headspace all by yourself when you have a mom and have no knowledge whatsoever. So
Right.
that's essentially why I made it. And also like in our Jewish community, especially, which is primarily the following that I have, um, they really need it. I've gotten so many messages and I still get every single day of like how
Yeah.
grateful women are for the space having been created. So Baruch Hashem.
You created this page as a space for what you feel like women and mothers need today that
Correct.
they do not have.
Yes.
And you experienced that because you became a mother without having any family around.
Exactly. I had, I mean, my siblings all had kids before me. I only have one sister that doesn't have a kid yet, because
Mm-hmm.
she's not married, she's younger. But I, I've watched all of them become parents, which has been a beautiful thing. But even so, like, even though we're close, like, no one actually talked about the shift of, especially as a woman, of becoming a mother and the like absolute weight that it just all of a sudden like
I
creates
know.
physically, emotionally.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, how do I do this? How do I figure this out? And it was all by myself, like reading, following other parenting pages, reading a bunch of articles, talking to other women, hoping that they're not freaked out by my honesty like before
Right.
the page actually started. Um, and yeah, slowly like the page formed obviously from this thought, but no one ever taught me anything. So
It's crazy.
I had to do it all Unfortunately, like you say, it's crazy, but I hate to say it, like it's the majority of us.
Exactly. That's what's crazy. And you also have qualifications because you worked in early childhood for like a very long time and you've done parent
Yes, but
coaching.
there's no qualifications to become a mom. They're like, here's your baby.
Right.
Like,
And you're like, cool,
it's, you know
thanks.
what's interesting is that like I'm sure a lot of early childhood teachers may have felt the same way. I was like, oh, I got this in the bag. Like, and I also used to parent coach. I got this in the bag.
Right,
Like,
before you had kids. I remember that.
yeah. And hell no.
Right.
Like, I did not know what the heck I was doing. Like, it's so crazy because I can easily like teach a class of even 30 kids, like by myself with no assistant. I got it down. But with my own kids, like, different triggers come up. It's 24/7, even when they're sleeping. Like I go into my son's room middle of the night to make sure he's okay. Like this is a
Yes.
this is a 24/7 job, and it's 24/7 mentally and physically there. It's like even when I have a break, although they're so rare, like I'm thinking about them all the time. Like it's just what we do, you know? So
Right. Right. I
there's
always
no
tell my
qualifications.
no, there's no qualifications and there's nothing that for prepared you. You have such good words for it, by the way. You're like, it's 24/7 and they trigger me. Right?
Yep.
Because they're literally bringing up your tikkun and your soul's correction. They're gonna trigger you.
Yep.
They're gonna trigger you to heal. And there's no break. I always tell my husband, I'm like, okay, did you lock the door? Okay, did you check my son's name is Zevi? Did you check that Zevi's alive? Like that's the like it's the same. Like okay, I can go to sleep. And he's like, if you come into the room and he'll be like, okay, the door's locked and Zevi's there. I have this crazy intrusive thought. I'm like,
I get
well,
it.
yeah,
Postpartum anxiety, but also
yeah,
motherhood. Like
yeah.
you
And
just
he's
always
7.
thinking.
This is just my own anxiety.
That's okay. It's in my head. I'm like, it's normal. I don't think it's neurotic. I just think that that's
No,
innate. That's what moms are. We
right.
care about our kids. We're always thinking about them. Hell, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? My son, my husband is almost 30, and when we're out in Toronto, his mom's like, "Are you guys okay?" Like,
Right. Right.
it's like
I
we're
have
grown
to, yeah.
adults.
Yeah, like no, no, we're fine, but it doesn't.
Especially when we like travel to Toronto, she's like, "Send me your location," and I'm like, "Okay." But it's
It
a mom
doesn't.
thing.
It doesn't go
It
away.
doesn't ever go away.
It doesn't go away. My intrusive thought is that if God forbid something happens to you, the more often I check on you, the sooner I'll know about it. So the sooner I can do something about it. It's
Hmm.
really, it's not a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing, but it's not a.
I think
It's
it's we have to learn how to like filter it, if that makes sense. Like knowing when to feel that way and how to feel that way to
right,
ensure like some sort of comfort.
right,
Like we can't always worry. I like don't want it to seem like I'm always worried about my children. No, like I'm always
right,
just wondering where they're at. Like I'm kind of monitoring them, if that makes sense.
right, right. Well,
Yeah.
that's kind of our job also.
Yeah,
But some of us are more anxious than others.
for sure.
So, what has your page like and this community and this space that you've created like shown a light on for you? Something that you're like, wow, I didn't realize other people struggled with this so much. Or I didn't realize this was or this was so needed. Like, what are some things that interacting because you get a lot of interaction on your page, you have a lot of people reaching out to you, you do events, you all are always doing this like anonymous
But I would say like one of the primary messages that I get, I think would be the loneliness of motherhood in general, like identity wise, as well as friendship is a huge one. Like I have a lot, which is why I made the paid, like the events. I mean, I've only had one, but I hope to have more. Cause it can feel really lonely being a mom. And especially for me, like I don't have very close friends where I live, unfortunately. And you know, people change and people drift and people shift. And I hope to, and I like have a big belief that I will, but I primarily created the space like to get that because friendship equals safety. And so often women have babies, myself, and it's not that I didn't feel safe. I just felt lost. So many of these
mhm,
women like are craving connection. That's essentially what
mm,
it is. So many moms are like, how do I make friends? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And it's also like a weird thing to just be open about with someone that you don't know yet or
yeah,
aren't close to yet. It's a very vulnerable and uncomfortable thing to bring up when motherhood can be tough and there's topics that like you're not sure are appropriate to bring up. So
Right.
I think the primary like thing that people are messaging me about is mom friends, and like identity of feeling like I'm in like this new stage. Like, what do I do now? Even though I have a job, even though I have a husband, even if I
Right.
actually have a friend group, like
Right.
now what? Because the
Right.
responsibility to take care of humans is so large. Like you're literally raising a person. When you like if you like think about that for a second, you're like, oh my God, like you are in charge of this person's whole future. Like the
Right.
way and you're shaping them. So that can feel incredibly isolating and overwhelming. So
Right.
I would say the top two things are for sure mom friends and identity that women have messaged me. And then alongside comes like guilt slash shame. Like a lot of the internet can be disgusting and like just very judgmental. So a lot of moms do some comparing, which is really icky. I mean, I used to do it and sometimes I do it if I'm feeling really weak.
Right.
But
So you're saying the shame is the third, but it's mostly the loneliness and like, who am I
identity.
now? Oh my
Yeah.
God, I totally relate to that. I don't think it goes away unless
Yeah.
you
So
work
funny
on
because
it.
before I had kids, like I felt really like, my God, I know exactly who I am. And I was really confident, which in turn, in my opinion, like brought my husband to me. Cause I feel like when you're like really accepting of yourself, you know, God kind of like brings things to you. So my husband came from that. And I was like, oh, I know what I want to do with my life. Like I know like exactly who I want to be. I felt like motivated to do A, B, and C. And like, you know, it all just like kind of like whirlwind into a completely different direction, which is okay. And a lot of people
Right.
like freak out because you're like, oh my God, like, why can't I do what I did before? Why shouldn't
Yeah.
I do what I did before?
Right.
But the thing is, like, absolutely not. Like, you can totally do something new. Like, that's
Yeah.
okay. And I think that's like
Yeah.
the best part of being a mom is like you become this like holier person. I mention it a lot in my content. Like it's such a sacred job.
Right.
Like you're literally a partner with Hashem. It's very,
Right.
very cool.
Right. All the things that you used to need to do to be connected, like praying and whatever it is that you used to do to be connected can technically now all be replaced
Yep,
with raising your kids,
exactly.
which does not feel fulfilling for a lot of people.
I'll be honest, it's not always fulfilling for me. I
Yeah.
actually just did a post recently, which has gone pretty like, I want to say viral because, like, oh my God, viral is huge, but it's been circling in the Jewish communities about like what I tell myself that alters, you know, that altered my brain chemistry.
Hmm.
And I keep it's kind of like affirmations in a way. Of just like how connected Hashem is to you when you raise your kids. You're literally raising kids like he's going through you. He moves through
Right.
you. And it's actually resonated with so many women and I was like surprised. I didn't think that that would be like the post that would
Right.
but I'm seeing like wow, a lot of people feel so distant from spirituality.
Yes.
But that's not what spirituality means. Like
Right.
spirituality is however you want to define it, with regards to you connecting to God, but like literally raising your children, and I'm like looking at my baby sleeping, like
Right.
literally raising your children is like the holiest work. It's
Right.
literally like
Right.
I when I say partners in Hashem, like I mean it. Like it's like
Right.
as if like he's sitting on a throne and you're like the queen, you know? Like
Right.
you're because like
Right.
majority of like traditional homes, like the husband does go to work and like we are a different type of caretaker for our children. Like my husband's like the rowdy, you know, like fun, exciting parent. He like chucks my kid like upside down or whatever. And I'm like, you won't see me doing that. Like he needs that. And I'm the more of the like, you know, slash disciplinarian slash like literally teaching him like everything about Judaism in a way that like my husband can't. We're like real models for our kids as parents. So
Yeah.
that's something like I bring the word up holy all the time. Like it's just it's a
Right.
very holy, holy thing.
Right. Well, I think that a huge part of becoming more spiritual and connecting to our creator and connecting to that infinite source of light comes with connecting to yourself.
Right.
And your kids force you to do that like on crack.
I get so triggered. Like I literally get
I
so
know.
triggered from my child and I'm terrified because like I didn't necessarily grow up with the most positive, you know,
Right.
upbringing and like I really don't want to mess up. And I'm sure like every parent when they have kids, no matter
Right.
who, like doesn't want to mess
Right.
up.
Right.
And I try and like separate that if that makes sense because like I don't want to raise my kids out of fear of messing
Right.
up. I
Mm-hmm.
really want to be present. I really want to like focus, but like there are times where I'm like, oh my God, like I'm so overwhelmed. I am so overstimulated.
Yes.
I lose my shit all the time. Excuse my French. I
Yeah.
literally lose it. And it's so hard because I never grew up in the
Right.
repair. And like I've had to teach myself how to repair with my children.
Right.
And that is like, it sounds funny because I say children because I have a baby, but like I'm repairing even with him. Like I'll say sorry if I lose it. Like I'm losing it at like a screaming baby, you know? But like sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
is everybody like, can everyone stop talking? Can everyone stop whining? Can
Right.
everyone just leave me alone? And like
Right.
inside our brains, just we're all just like, "Ah." And
Yeah.
like I literally apologize to my infant about like my behavior. And it's so humbling, but it's like literally I'm inhaling now because like it's so needed because
Yeah.
it doesn't only make me feel better, but I know that like at the end of the day, like it will heal whatever part feels, tough for
Right.
him.
I think
It's
you're,
wild.
yeah. Yeah, it's why, yeah, I think you're also teaching him that he knows that it's not that it's normal for people to lose it, but it's not normal for him to just need to tolerate it.
Exactly. One of the questions or anonymous messages that I literally got last night on the page was that like someone has mom rage, which is postpartum rage. And I actually had it with my first, and I occasionally have it now with my second, which nobody talks about. You hear depression, you hear anxiety. Postpartum rage is like real with me. And I don't know if it's because of my upbringing or if it's just, hormonal thing, but either
Yeah,
way, I definitely have it. And what I was telling her through the anonymous message is that like you really have to work on the repair. It's often and most often more important than
right,
whatever happens before or after. It's the
right,
repair is literally what builds connection,
right,
and like that builds also like their character.
right. And then they learn that when they
Hmm.
lose it, it's okay.
Yeah,
They can apologize,
right.
and hopefully they'll lose it less with their kids.
I hope so.
I
I
hope
really
so.
hope so.
Yeah,
Listen, I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it. Like I definitely yell and I have no shame in it. Like, of course, I feel shame, but I'm not going to like beat myself up all the time about it. And my son is now 2.5. And like, I'm not even joking. Like, I'll yell at him and he'll look me in my eyes and he'll say, Mommy shouldn't yell. And I built that in him because
right,
through my apologies and my
right,
repair with him, I'll hug him and literally like I'll be crying. I'm like, Mommy shouldn't have yelled. And now
right,
it's something that he says if I
right.
do. And like, it allows him to actually connect with me and understand that I understand what I did isn't right. And he also puts me in check, which is so
Hmm.
humbling, but also like, hell yeah,
Right.
like,
At least you
thank
have
you.
somebody. 'Cause you can't always be the only person keeping yourself in check. Even if it's your
Yeah.
2.5-year-old, it's helpful. And I've seen the more long-term effects because my son is 7.5. And when I do lose it with him, and every single human being loses it, if you're listening, if anybody who does says they don't lose it is lying, or they're suppressing, or they're lying. Like everybody loses it. And now he's really able as an older kid, to express himself and be like, "Mommy, I'm so hurt."
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can like flesh it out,
Yeah.
because
It's
as
such a
opposed to,
blessing. People think like it might be like too pansy, like you're too
yeah.
soft with your kids. But that's like also a shift of modern parenting. People like mistake gentle parenting with like, you know what I'm talking about.
We still have
Um,
boundaries. We have very
a
firm
hundred
boundaries in our
percent
house, but I'm not gonna tell him that yelling is okay
for
just
sure.
because he's not listening. Or just because he's not respecting. We are not, I think gentle parenting and like parenting where you validate your kid is really confused with like you don't have boundaries and you don't
Yeah,
teach your kids
no, of course.
self-discipline.
Of
And that's
course.
not true.
Yeah,
I think
thank
some people
God.
don't.
Thank God my son is like he's amazing. Like I definitely take like I it's attributed to like me and my husband raising him.
Yeah, you
I will
should.
not give it to anybody else.
Yeah.
But like he'll literally label his feelings. It's the coolest thing. Like I couldn't even label my feelings like 5 years ago. Are you kidding me? Like but he'll like look at me like my husband will leave and he's like, I'm sad. Like, like for
Right.
him to like process that. Or if
Yeah.
like something doesn't go his way, I'm like, are you frustrated? He's like, no, I'm upset. Like he'll like
Mhm.
actually tell me like what he's feeling like. And that's so cool that you were
Hmm.
just like put in this world, what, 2 years ago? Like, and you
Hmm.
know what you're feeling. That's incredible. But I think it's like helpful and in that connection that we want to build with our kids. It all like connects. It's
Yeah,
people think that it's not like discipline is very often confused with like aggression and um
right.
I disagree.
Versus aggression. Let's unpack that a little more. I think that's really important because I think a lot of us were disciplined from an angry place. But can you talk on that topic a little more?
I mean, it's all about how you communicate with your kids. Like, for instance, like my son yesterday, he was driving the cars into my dog. Like it's this new thing that he likes to do, which is annoying because like we finally stopped that stage like
Right.
maybe 6 months ago. Like because he was a little little and he didn't understand. Because it's funny because he thought every other dog on the street was a dog, but our dog was just Sophie. Like he didn't equate it to like another dog. But
So
now
you
he
have three
knows.
kids, but okay.
Literally, I call her a toddler all the time.
She is. Yeah.
But he started this new thing where like he drives his cars into her and it drives her nuts. But like she loves him so much that like she doesn't go upstairs to like our bedroom to like hide. Like she wants to be with us downstairs. So like she'll take the bait and it's like so annoying because I'm like, oh my God, like just go away from him. But he wants to
Right.
bother her. So my husband, he has this thing where he calls the cars are going to be impounded now because my son's obsessed with cars. So he knows like car language. Like
Impounded.
I'll yeah, so he's like, your cars are getting impounded, and he like literally puts them in our freezer. Like that's the impound zone. And he really was upset. Like he lost it, temper tantrum. We held it to our words. Like we said, if you do it one more time, we're going to put it in the freezer. No sugar coating. No, oh my gosh, I hear you. You're so sad. Like there's no softness. Like it's like when you're being disciplined, you have to be clear and concise. Like
Right.
there's no coddling involved in our parenting when it comes to that moment of
Right.
discipline. And then when he wanted them back, we have a conversation about it. Why did Tati take it away?
Right.
And then he lets us know I wasn't being safe with Sophie.
Right.
Okay, are you going to be safe with Sophie? Yes, I'm going to give Sophie space. Like it's a conversation. And then, you know, here's your cars.
Right.
Um, and that's kind of an example of we're going to always make sure that he feels safe, that others in our house, including our dog, will feel
Right.
safe through a gentle but very assertive way. I feel like people really get confused with discipline means yelling and screaming. Chas
Right.
v'shalom, no way. We don't ever hit in our house. That
Hmm.
is non-negotiable.
Right.
And my son, thank God, is the most polite, well-mannered. It's how they communicate with you is the
Hmm.
connection that is built. If you're going
Right.
to communicate through yelling, your kid's going to end up yelling. I've been teaching for 11 years in an early childhood classroom. It's just fact.
Right.
Um,
Right. Your kids are your
so
mirrors. They do what you do.
exactly, exactly.
Okay, so you were saying that when you discipline from a firm, grounded place versus yelling and screaming. So I wanted to touch on like the safety piece, right? Like, and maybe transition a little bit into talking about healing our inner child through raising our kids. Because when your
Absolutely.
parents are just losing it and losing themselves on you and they can't handle their own feelings, and you feel the rage and you feel the stress behind their discipline, it causes a lot of dysregulation within the kids. And it actually has the opposite effect,
Oh,
right?
for
Like,
sure.
right, I
Exactly.
find when I'm losing it with my son, it's because I'm dysregulated and
For
I need to
sure.
go, right, I need
For
to go take
sure.
a minute.
It's a
Yeah.
very hard thing to constantly remind yourself, oh my God, he's been here for 2 years.
Right.
It sounds like so simple, but it's really not. Like when you actually like grapple at that sentence, like, oh
Right.
my God, he's been here for only 2 years. Of course he has no idea what is going on. Of course he doesn't have the same tools and knowledge that we do. And that constant reminder is like sometimes in the back of our mind that we have to like, I
Right.
can't find it, like, and then you have to like remind yourself, oh my God, he's only two. I'll be straight up. I literally lost it at him. Was it last night or 2 nights ago? I didn't lose it, but I like yelled and raised my voice because I got so irritated that he wasn't letting me put on a new diaper. Um, if you know, you know.
That's
And I like
irritating.
literally raised my voice. Like I got loud. And like my husband like put me in check gently. After like I like, let it go. And he's like, Rix, like, I don't know if it needed that. And I'm like, you're totally right. Like I didn't need to do that. And of course the repair, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But like it's a constant like, oh my God, I was not raised in this same way. And
Right.
I'm
Right.
literally teaching myself as I teach my son
Right.
all of the time.
Right.
And thank God a lot of us were blessed, with, happily married parents and, really great communicators, which essentially leads to great marriages also. But I wasn't raised like that.
Right.
So
A lot of us were
I'm,
not.
I know. So, but for
Yeah.
those that don't know and are listening and don't
Right.
understand, if you weren't raised in that blessed type of environment,
Right.
you really have
Right.
to rewire your brain. And doing it at this age may seem like it's easier, but it's really not. It's easier at my son's age because
Right.
it's literally being molded. But right now my
Right.
brain's already molded. I'm already, past 25, like it's at
Right.
its full. And
Right.
I'm now having to like literally rewire everything that I was raised
Right.
with all of the time. It's
Right.
not once a day, it's all of the time. So many
Right.
things, and the way that I run my house, and the way that I cook, and the way that I clean, and the way that I literally just be with myself is having to be rewired because I want to do better, be better,
Yeah.
not only for myself, but for my kids.
Right. Right. And that's so much of the reason that we're put into this world is to work through
Yeah.
all this stuff. You choose your parents before you're born, like your soul chooses the parents they're born to before they're born. At least this is, kind of how I was taught, based off of your soul's correction. Are you familiar with this concept?
No, I don't know
Oh,
about this.
so so I find this to be a very interesting like tool and an interesting point is that like your soul knows its correction before it comes down because we're all here for a correction. And I want to just clarify that a correction is not one thing. We're here for layers and layers and layers of corrections. And as we
Right.
grow and work through parts of our soul's correction, more are revealed to us. So it's not just you came here to cover your knees, like I was taught growing up, and that's your soul's correction. Like it's so much deeper than that. Um, so your soul knows what it needs to do before it comes down, and it's going to choose parents that are going to bring out that correction in you throughout your life. So I always knew that growing up, but I never really understood it. But what it means is that
That's
let's
deep.
say anyway, so if you have a soul's if you have a correction of anger or your soul has abandonment issues, you are going to choose parents who are going to create a lot of suppressed rage in you for you to work through. You're going to choose parents that may abandon you or a father that may abandon you so you can work through these abandonment issues. Or maybe you have a soul's correction in self-abandonment, so like you need to really learn how to be there for yourself and to
Right.
not just outsource everything. So when you are working through these issues with your kids that you got from your parents, that's where it stems from essentially.
Yeah. No, I
um
I kind of like more focus on like if I want to really be connected spiritually to the concept of being a parent is like I really like to remind myself that Hashem chose you to be this
right,
child's parent. And that's
right.
something that I really can almost physically hang on to because yeah,
Yes.
it may seem like duh, but look how many human beings there are and
Yeah.
look how many children there are, who has more kids, who has less, who can't have kids, who can have
Yeah.
kids. Like all of it is just a godly thing. Oh my gosh, like Hashem chose me to be the mother of my two boys. This wasn't like a joke.
No.
He chose me. And that's what I keep
Right.
telling myself. Hashem chose me to do this.
Right. And not only that, they chose you before they came down.
So I'm
Right.
all
Right.
Chev. I mean,
Right. We all are. We all are little sparks of God. So sometimes I remind myself that because there's certain things that my son has gone through that I really wished he didn't have to go through. But it was out of my control.
right.
And I remind myself that he's here for his own purpose. As much as he's an extension of God and he's an extension of me, he's his own person. And this is part of his work and his correction. And the best thing I can do for him is make sure that, because he's going to go through stuff and I cannot avoid it. We cannot protect our kids from everything. The best thing I can do for him is have the best relationship that I possibly can with him. That way, no matter what he's going through, he knows he has me. He's
Yeah,
going to go through things,
for sure.
right? And you mentioned another interesting point. You're like, this is how I was raised. I'm not going to say what your parents did or didn't do, but you're literally rewiring your brain.
Yeah.
And you don't know like how true that is, like from a neuroscience perspective, because most 90 to 95% of your subconscious programming is solidified before the age of 7 years old when
Right.
you're
That's
when you're
why,
working
like,
this
when I
love,
worked in
right?
early childhood, like, people think, like, oh, preschool. I
Yeah.
worked in preschool for 11 years, and I will say it's not necessary, but those first 5 years are so integral. Like, they
Right.
are so important, and we underestimate the power of every single moment that neurons are being created at that
Yeah.
age. And
Yes.
I tell parents every year when I did teach, don't think that this is just la-di-da time of their life. This is the
No.
time to really instill everything you want into your child. And I'm not talking about ABCs and 1, 2, 3 and reading. I'm
Right.
talking about values and connection and just
Right.
morals and the way that you want them to like live till the age of 5 is like, so you're saying 7. It makes a lot of sense that that's literally there's so
Right.
much happening in a
Right.
baby's brain.
Yeah. And then as you get older, this programming literally is in the driver's seat in your life.
Yeah.
You're like, why am I yelling at my kid? I haven't been yelled at since I was like 10 years old, because your brain has been wired and your
Yep.
entire existence has been wired based off of those early childhood experiences. So unless you took the time to unlearn them, that is literally all that you know. And we want to create the safety for our kids that we didn't get, because
Yeah.
a safe nervous system can do so much more, is so much less inhibited than a dysregulated nervous system, from kids that were responsible for their parents' feelings. Like, we're
Yep.
talking about, when I'm yelling a lot, that's my problem, not my kid's problem.
A
They're just
hundred
doing what they're
percent.
meant to be
Like
doing,
a
you
hundred
know?
percent. A
But
hundred
that's not
percent.
how we were raised. A lot of us were, those of us who were raised with parents who were not regulated, we were raised that if your parent is in a mood, we need to shape shift. We need to detect it
We're
early.
responsible for another
Yeah.
person's brain, literally.
Yeah.
And it's the
Like,
most bizarre thing because we are
yeah.
all our own individual people. It's like if you want to even get deeper, it's like you're not responsible for another neshama unless it's
Right.
your child, but like
Right.
you're not responsible for your parents' behavior.
Right. So
No.
that's why I think that people are, well, with the gentle parenting, oh, you can't, you're teaching your kid to be soft. You're teaching them they can't handle things. No, I'm teaching them that everybody's feelings are their own responsibilities. It's not that I'm teaching them they can't handle the world. They are doing hard things every single day. And I teach him he can do hard things. And when he wants to give up because he feels like he can't do hard things, I push him. Yes, you will be doing hard things, but doing hard things and being responsible for adult feelings, the feelings of the adults in your life that are supposed to be taking care of you, are two very different things. And I
Yep.
think it's a really important point of distinction.
Absolutely.
So
It
what
is
are
what it
some
is.
tools and techniques that you use? Because you now have 2 kids under 3. What are some tools, and you're home with them all the time, which is
Yep.
loaded, but also
Lock myself in
amazing.
the bathroom. No.
What do you do? Like, be practical. Like, and I could use some advice on this too. Like, what do you do when you're overstimulated? What do you do when you're like, hold on, Riki, I need to calm myself or else I will lose it on my kids?
Well, a huge part of that is my husband. To single moms out there, you guys are incredible. Oh my God. I don't know how the hell I would do this without him, but thank God I have him as like a crutch of when I do get overstimulated and I still want them to be watched. I'll literally be like, okay, take Alex. I can't. Like
Yeah.
I need to breathe. And
Yeah.
that's like usually what I'll do.
Yeah.
I'll put on the TV. I don't care. It's something that works for me. There's not screen time all the time in this house. Absolutely not. But if I need it to
Right.
breathe, I'll do that.
Right.
Or I'll literally tell my son, I need space. And
Right.
you know what? He tells me I need space when like I want to
Yes.
smother him, like
Right.
and it's annoying him and I'm like biting his
Right.
cheeks. Mommy, stop. I need space.
Right.
But it's the same thing. He's getting overstimulated. And so I when I like want to yell, of course, deep breaths, do all the like basic stuff, but sometimes that shit doesn't work. Like it's not enough. And the space is what's needed because
Right.
like sometimes like I'll let my son, my baby cry so that I can be okay. And I'll
Yeah.
like leave the room. He's safe. There's nothing dangerous near him. There's nothing I can do except regulate myself. And if this
Right.
is what I need, my son crying for a minute while he's safe, he's fed, he's clean,
Right.
there's no dirty diaper, he's loved. The way I love him is taking a step and needing
Yeah.
space. That's like the biggest thing is when I need space. Unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of like having family live near us. So space is very rare.
Yeah.
In the terms of like leaving my house. So the best that I can do is like bathroom. Let's go to the bathroom, breathe. I'll take extra time in the shower if I need to, do what I can. I think a lot of the time, like when you're in that moment, you're very limited to step away or, hand your kid off to your husband. So I try and like find the pockets of when things are calm to fill my cup, if that makes sense. I feel like the more that I do for myself, I'll be more in tune with like how I communicate with my kid when I'm getting overstimulated and their behavior is triggering me. So, like I mentioned, I'll spend longer in the shower because I know that like that will make my evening a lot more manageable if my baby is screaming, even though my other one's in bed. Like if my baby's screaming, because I had that longer shower, I have more cup to like flow
Right.
over. And I'll be more communicative in that moment if I do need help from my husband, or I'll make a dinner that I like
Right.
because I know that
Right.
like usually I like all my dinners, but sometimes I'll make something that like my husband prefers.
Right.
But that night I'll like, no, I want to make something that I like because I know that it will make me feel better in the evening,
Yeah.
be more attentive with my kids.
Mhm.
If I do get overstimulated,
Right.
I filled my cup to,
Right.
do a better job in the evening. I don't know if
Right.
this makes sense. Am I making sense?
It makes perfect sense. When you give from a place of emptiness, that's where a lot of anger and resentment comes from. And sometimes you can't avoid it.
Right.
But
But when you can't avoid it, for me
exactly.
personally, it's limited. I don't have 100 resources in my back pocket to pull
Yeah.
out when I'm about to lose it
Right.
with somebody in my
Right.
house.
Right.
And the most I can do is either take a deep breath or literally get physical space. So what I really am trying to work on, especially after becoming a mom, is just doing little pockets of things for myself so that if those moments do come up, when they do come up, it's not if, they will absolutely come up. I have given everything that I possibly could to myself to
Hmm.
ensure that that will be a successful
Right.
repair or whatever the heck's going on.
Right. Right. I'm happy the conversation shifted here because I want to touch a little bit more on the practicality because I feel like we covered a lot of really good concepts, but some of the practicality of like advice you can give to those three biggest issues that you see coming up on your page and the people that you interact with and the people and with yourself through the transformation of becoming a mother, the loneliness, the loss of identity, and then the shame.
Shame.
So let's just I want to just go before we wrap up into like let's talk like practically. Like what are we
Okay.
doing? Do you have recommendations? Like how are we handling the loneliness? Like what are we doing about that? Do you have real genuine recommendations to help moms with that?
Okay, so it's a big question and everyone is
Yeah.
different, which I think is a key point here is that like not everybody is the same. And if you have something that's similar to another mom, the way that you handle it might not be as effective as another mom handling it. But for what I personally do, is like I mentioned before, taking care of yourself first and foremost. Um, like getting dressed, putting on makeup, showering. Like I can't even count the amount of moms that I've spoken to that said I haven't showered in 3 days. Like, girl,
Right.
shower. Like
Right.
it's the minimal thing that you can
Right.
do for yourself. And it feels like such a luxury sometimes, but like it's the least you can do. So taking care of yourself is number one. And with regards to like loneliness, reach out. In my opinion, you will feel worse and have more regret holding things inside than being honest and vulnerable. Like when has honesty like really bit you in the butt when it comes to raising your kids? It's such an important job and we mentioned and touched on like you really don't want to mess up. And why are so many of us so scared to just be real and be honest
Yeah.
and talk to our siblings and talk to your friends about
Hmm.
how you're feeling?
Yeah.
Because you can literally get more answers out of other moms than you will a doctor. You really have to be brave. It's why I made the
Hmm.
space. Hello, do you know how embarrassing it was when I started it
Yeah.
talking about all this random shit and like everybody's like can maybe think like, oh my God, is she oversharing? I know I'm not because like clearly, hello, we have almost
Yeah.
10,000 women that are like, oh my God,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think with regards to feeling alone and wanting friends, like that's step one. Be honest and don't be scared to be honest. And if it is scary, that's okay. Like it's most hard things are not easy,
Right.
Like you
Right.
can't just like woo through it, like especially motherhood. So
It's
my
not a
opinion,
passing phase.
yeah, so my advice would be to reach out if you have somebody or anything
Yeah.
to reach out. And with regards to like making relationships, go to workout classes, find somebody that's in a similar state as you and ask them to go to coffee. It's embarrassing again at first, but
Or even come
like
over to your house, to your child's proof house. I do this with friends. Come over with your children to my child's proof house in between naps for a coffee. That is literally what I do.
and
And
it oh my God, it fills your cup like pun intended. Because there's
if,
no such thing
yeah,
as a mom that's I got it all in the bag. It doesn't exist. And we'll touch on like the shame aspect of looking at women online. It's primarily why I do not actually follow personally a lot of bloggers or influencers. And I say influencers because content creators and influencers are two different things. I personally, when I see people that are trying to fit an aesthetic, like I don't need that. A lot of people do because they could be either like really miserable and they need an outlet,
Mm-hmm.
or they aspire to be something, or it
Mm-hmm.
motivates them in a good way. But let's be real. I don't think it's doing that for the majority of their following. I think people a lot of the time are shopping for instant gratification, and the way that they're showcasing motherhood and their lifestyle is just not, it's not relatable for the majority of us. And I have chosen to unfollow. When I made this space, I had a previous Instagram page, which you know about.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I started this one, I was like, okay, I'm not following any of these things that like just do not do anything for me. And I think going back to like staying on topic of like shame, what you allow in your brain space and your life and what you
Mm-hmm.
consume is literally entirely up to you. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're choosing to consume content on social media, because let's be real, that's where a lot of us are seeing shame and a lot of us are seeing judgment. Of course, there is in our communities and women that you see at Shoal or whatever, if you are feeling shame and judgment, but majority of it I feel is from women spending time online and looking at social media
Right.
and comparing. And like the teacher, previous teacher, every kid's different. I can say that with full confidence. I've never had a student one and the same. Like every child and neshama is so different, has such different needs. Every marriage is different. Every home is different. Every family dynamic is different. You may have similar styles or similar type of child, but like every single person and child is different. So comparing your life to somebody that looks so perfect online is just not realistic. We're all
Mm-hmm.
going through the thick of it more times than you think. They're choosing to show you what they want.
You're comparing their highlight reel to your real life.
Correct. And even if their life is, Baruch Hashem, that incredible, if it's not making you feel the right things, unfollow. You literally get to choose what to consume. Um, and if that person is not making you feel motivated or feel like you can do this, there's no reason, in my opinion, to be putting yourself in that
Yeah.
position. So that's one. And two is talking to God. And I don't mean in a sitter. I mean, in every moment that you possibly can. I say Baruch Hashem so much now because that's a way that I connect. I don't have time to daven, and hopefully I will. It's definitely a goal of mine, but right now I'm not in that stage. And like in the way that I make Shabbos is the way that I talk to God. When I light Shabbos candles, I'll talk to him, even if it's for literally 5 seconds, because a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
times I'm like, oh, good Shabbos, like,
Right. Right.
you
Because
know,
someone's
like,
pulling.
because my baby's screaming and like my kid needs to be fed, and like even though my
Right.
husband's there, like we got to do what you got to do. So
Right.
I find like pockets to talk to him where I like, and sometimes often they're like when I'm about to lose it. Um, I'm like, please give me the strength.
Yeah.
Like, please,
Yeah.
please, because I'm about to lose it. Please give
Right.
me the strength.
Right.
So talking to God and choosing what to consume will really help that shame and make you feel more confident in like your parenting. And like we mentioned before, like keep reminding yourself that like no one was better suited for the role than you.
Right.
Like God didn't give you a kid to have so and so online raise it. Like God gave you your kid so that you raise it, and how you choose to do that is what matters.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier said than done. Like I'm not going to sit here and be like, "Wow, I'm so high and mighty." I still
Right. No,
compare.
we're talking about like little practical things you can do in real
Yeah,
time.
so this is something that like I think everybody should be doing. Just please
Yeah.
consume what makes you feel good, because if you're addicted to social media, which most of us are,
Right.
at least fill your addiction with good stuff
Right.
cuz
Right.
cuz
Right.
there's some nasty stuff going on over there.
Everyone
Yeah.
else follows, even if everyone else follows them. But
Oh,
it
it's
gives you a bad feeling
it's
when you
really
watch their
interesting.
content.
I went to this event a couple months before I gave birth, and it talking about like someone asked the question like during the forum of how do I build my social media following. And at that point I had like 8,000 followers, and I knew I was gaining like success in that. So I spoke up and I was like, because they asked like, does anybody know, because nobody would say anything. And I said, listen, like the way I boosted my page, I feel like you care about numbers, which I absolutely do not, is just being vulnerable, be honest.
Be
Don't
you.
sugarcoat things. Yeah, just be authentic. Stop trying to chase an aesthetic. And it was really interesting because another woman that was there was like, it's so interesting because I actually disagree. I enjoy following the pretty and aesthetic things because it's funny, it's entertaining. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
like thinking you're following it not for the same way that majority of their followers are looking at it. Like I can't sit here and like 10 toes down be like, yeah, everyone's following this person that's aesthetic and pretty because they want to be
Mm-hmm.
like them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just a personal thing. Like when we connect to somebody on social media, and I mean connect, it's usually for me, content creators, not influencers, but content
Mm-hmm.
creators, because they're real, they're authentic, they're giving you a piece of their personality that feels like really true and raw. And I really appreciate it. Like that's how Elise got so famous. I'm sure you know who she is.
Yeah, sure. Elise Myers. Yeah.
um she was like one of the first women that I saw was like totally herself,
Right.
no makeup, wearing
Right.
exactly what she wears, just saying what's on her mind. And like
Right.
from her stemmed like who knows, like a whole movement of like women that are like, oh my god, like social media can actually be an enjoyable place
Yeah.
that you can find your people.
Yeah.
Again, if you like following aesthetics, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I have
Right.
no judgment whatsoever. I just want to like
Right.
make sure that like you're in tune with why you're following
Right.
certain people and what you're trying to gain out of it. And
So
then
you're saying,
the
yeah.
last thing that you mentioned was, so we touched on shame and guilt and we touched on mom friends. The last thing is identity. That's the hardest one to do
Yeah.
and the hardest advice to give. Again, like I mentioned, because everyone is different and everyone has their own needs. I think, firstly, accepting that is like number one. Like, accept
Yeah.
that you're in a new space because a lot of the times in the beginning for me, I fought it. And I think a lot of
Mm.
us fight it where we're like, I'm a mom, but I'm still a teacher and I'm still want to be a parent coach and I still want
Right.
to do A, B, and
It's like
C.
holding on to your old identity.
It's funny, when I started my page, I actually on my website was going to parent coach. And I'm sure you saw it if you saw when I started. And it
Mm-hmm.
was on my website and I was really excited about it. And then I wasn't. And it's not because I didn't get clients that wanted it. It's just also that was a piece of it. But I was like, I don't really want to do it. Like I'm not connecting with it. I don't feel like I'm the same person. And I kind of tried to fight it because I literally put it on there. I wanted to monetize also. And I fully accepted it. I was like, you know what? This is not what Hashem has in store for me. It's not what I want in store for me. And I took it off my site.
Wow.
I felt like I let go of a piece of my identity. And that's what scares
Mm.
us because you feel like when you let go of who you were, you're losing a piece of yourself. But I try to like reframe it where you're finding yourself. Like
Right. You're making
this isn't,
space for more to come in.
yeah, it's like you don't reach your cap. Like you're never at your cap. You're,
No.
and people think that like you got to reach your cap, but when you become a mom, it is absolutely normal and in fact healthy to want to be somebody new because you're in charge of raising an neshama
Yeah.
or multiple neshamas. Like
Mm-hmm.
we shouldn't be the same. We should want to grow and want to improve.
Right.
And it's okay if your goals and aspirations change. It's okay if you want to go back to school. It's okay if
Right.
you don't want to go to school at all. It's okay if you want to stay
Right.
at home and raise your kids and then go to
Right.
school in 10 years. Like
Mm-hmm.
and people get so scared. So I think the first thing is to accept that it's okay
Mm-hmm.
that your identity has shifted and changed. And then the next thing is just start finding sparks of where you find your joy again.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to sing all the time, and you know this.
You're very talented.
Thank
I
you.
wasn't gonna bring it up. I was like, if she wants to, she will.
No, I used to like perform all the time. And like when I had kids, I literally was like, I'm never going to do that again. Like, this is so sad. And that brought me so much joy. Like, every time a show was finished, I was like, oh my God, there's no better high in the world. And it was really depressing because I didn't pick up a guitar or a piano in years after my first. Um,
Wow. I'm
yeah.
shocked. I
And
am shocked. Okay.
yeah, and it's now I try because it brings me joy and I'll write songs about them, which also brings me joy, but it's not the same. And I mourned it. And it's important to mourn as
Yeah.
well who you were. It's not only just acceptance, but mourn as well. And I'm like, oh my God, like it doesn't bring me the same satisfaction as it did. Like, am I messed up? Um,
Mm-hmm.
did my kids break me? Like, this was something I did all day. Like, and when I say all day, like, I literally,
I
I
know.
came home from work and played for 2 hours, like
Right.
every day. Like, that is
Right.
exactly what I did. And then when I moved to New York out of LA, it just kind of like fizzled out. And I played guitar all the time, but once I had kids, like it was hard. And my husband was so sweet. Like he built me a guitar stand so that it's like in my face now
So
if I wanna
sweet.
play. Yeah, it's on my bedroom wall here, but I bring it downstairs sometimes and I'll keep it down there for like a week. Even if I touch it only once,
Right.
like I have it down there. But I accepted that, like, hey, it's not my life anymore. I'm not performing anymore. I'm
Right.
okay with it because I actually really like where I'm at. I think that I'm making such an impact. I love getting to like have a creative outlet in the
Right.
space. Like, it's not only talking about motherhood, it's primarily that. It's very
Right.
obvious, but there's a creative outlet of creating recipes, which is an absolute joy and love of mine.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. You have
and
that on your
then
website also. Yeah.
yeah, and then just taking care of myself, finding an outlet. It's made me so happy. So find your creative outlet. It would be my advice. Like, and it's okay if it's tiny. If it's you enjoy reading, read. If you
Yeah.
enjoy music, play
Yeah.
one song. Like I used to play
Right.
music all the time in my house. And I mean from my like stereo wise, like not physically an instrument. And now I actually like started playing music all the time
Yes.
while I'm like washing dishes or walking my kid to the
Yes.
park even. Like
Yes.
I try and find those pockets of, and even if it doesn't bring me the same gratification as it did
Right.
before,
Don't
I'm
be
okay with that.
discouraged. Yeah.
Yeah, like I haven't found who I am yet. Like I don't know if I ever will.
Nobody does.
um, I mean, some people have like found grounding, I would say. But like I haven't found who I am yet, but I've found because I've questioned
Yeah.
what brings me joy. Like social media brought me joy and I wanted it to be impactful and enjoyable.
Hmm.
So here we are with the space of moms to connect. And I also just was like really lonely and I needed some
Yeah.
sort of way to connect with somebody, And so that's why I created it. But I just think that once we accept our identity shift, once we mourn our identity shift, then you'll slowly come into this person that like you never knew existed. And it's a beautiful person and it's an inspiring person. Like you're a mom, you're literally raising human beings and the shamos and like the next generation. It's a very holy and sacred job that we are given the
Right.
absolute privilege to become and do.
Right.
So I can't really give advice of like, this is what I did.
Right. No,
It's
but I
more of,
think what you shared, just listening to you, I think what you shared, you've been saying the same thing. Find the little pockets.
yeah,
Don't look at the small conversations and the interactions that you have at the park that are so much less than you used to have as small. Don't look at the 5-minute song that you listen to as small. Don't look at the 5-minute painting you did as small. Like these are your moments when you're filling your own needs, you're taking care of your own loneliness,
yeah.
you're maintaining your own identity. Like that's what you've been saying, just like absorbing and listening. Don't underestimate what a little bit can do for you. Little bits build and grow over time, and I feel like that's a lot of, would you agree with
I
that?
think 100%. And I think that another like big aspect that like we forget is that like your kids are little for so little amount of time.
Right.
Like think
Right.
about how old you are and
Right.
how long they're going to be at home for. Or let's just give the 18-year mark. Are you kidding me? Do you know how little that is in the span of
Right.
your entire life? Like
Right.
it's okay if right now you're primarily a caretaker and or a provider, whatever it
Right.
is. This is the phase of your life that you are given and how you want to choose to make the most of it is what matters. If you
Right.
want to live in like sadness and depression about like and just keep like mourning and mourning and mourning, it might
Mm-hmm.
not be the greatest,
Right.
thing for you. But if you
Right.
try and make that like shift of, hey, like it sucks that I can't
Right.
perform right now. It sucks that I don't play music as much.
Right.
And it sucks that I don't have the same friends that I did.
Right.
But this is where I'm at. I'm literally taking care of
Right.
human beings, and this is my job right now.
Right.
Thank you, Hashem, and move on. And I give that talk
Right.
to myself about 25 times a day.
25 times an hour, Ricky. Literally. So let's recap. So we're saying when it comes to the three biggest components that you're experiencing with the people you interact with, which is loneliness, shame, and loss of identity, essentially what you're saying is try to connect, make a conscious effort. Don't underestimate the tiny bits of connection that you have. But you're saying make an effort to connect. And I would even
Yes.
add to that, I find, because I've moved around a lot, I became a mother at a very young age. I went through divorce. Like I've experienced the loneliness.
Yeah.
Do not underestimate skipping the small talk. Skip the small talk, okay? Some people will be, I've actually
It's kind of
almost,
like what my whole page is. Like, there is no
yes,
small talk. I can't.
yes.
I'm allergic to it. I'm
Yeah,
allergic. Like,
allergic. I love that.
I
Literally,
can't do it anymore.
I have never, ever had somebody walk away from me in a conversation because I was too real with them. A real, authentic conversation that you have with a
Yeah.
mom in a park for 2 minutes when both of your kids are happy can give you so much more than,
Yeah.
oh,
It gives
where are
you
you
chizuk,
from? I
literally.
like your skirt, da da da. Skip the small talk. And if it turns them off, honestly, we're too busy to care about that.
Yeah. They're not your
Like,
people. That's it. You find your
right,
people by how you want to be
right.
spoken to.
And
That's it.
sometimes you're not going to find your person in the, but you even just one really good conversation in a park when you're that lonely and you're that depleted and you're that in the thick of it can give you so much light. So reach out. You're saying reach out, find little pockets of time. Do not underestimate the half a song from your childhood that you're listening to while both of your kids are quiet when you're walking to the park. Have dance parties with them. Like if music is what fills you up, lean
Literally just had one the
into
other
it.
day.
Yeah.
Literally just had one the other day. My husband
Yeah.
even joined in. It was
Yeah,
fun. Like,
movement helps so much. Like,
yeah.
especially if you're a music person, if you like painting, paint with your whatever you like doing, try and do it with your kids. Like I'm such a big like proponent of that. But the point is like the driving point is, and I've seen this, and this is I think a lot of what you're saying also is don't underestimate the tiny pockets, right?
Yep.
The hot coffee, the creamer that you like
I
what you
attest
said.
this line, by the way, to my therapist. I attest it. Like, I never knew about this concept of pockets until I spoke
Yeah,
with her, and she
it's
gave me
profound.
it after I had my first. That's when we started talking about it because I was like really wanting to lose my baby weight, and she's like, okay, like you can't sit down for an hour right now and work out. Just find pockets, and like that has
Yeah,
been like
yeah,
I've been using that pocket term now ever since, and it's
yeah,
like so helpful because
yeah.
it's realistically what a lot of us are only able to get. It's just pockets.
Yeah, but if you're listening at home and you're like, what's 2 minutes gonna do? Don't knock it till you try it. Don't knock
Yep.
it until you try it, and don't be discouraged because it's such a short amount of time, because you're now a different person. You're a mother. You don't have the same time that you used to have. And like you were saying, don't resist it. Accept it. Accept it and use what you can and do what you can and stop
Yeah.
focusing on what you can't do, because also what you focus on grows. So if you're only focusing on what you can't do, you'll find you never have time for anything. And if you
Yeah. You'll
continue
just feel
focus
depleted.
yeah, and ooh, like who wants that? So like focus on the good, focus on the positivity as much as you can, but that doesn't mean ignore the negativity because we're not talking about toxic positivity here. And then the shame piece, I think what we kind of both touched on is remember that you were chosen for this job by God, by yourself, by the kids, no by your kids. Know that this is where you're meant to be, and you're saying that will kind of help with the shame.
And
Like,
also choose what you want to consume and be
yes,
around.
yes, yes. I
You
didn't
get
touch on
to
that. You're right.
choose, yeah, you get to choose your environment. And that includes what you consume on social media, that
Yeah.
includes what you eat. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Like what you eat literally
Yeah.
gives your body energy to raise your children.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, just whatever you consume
Yeah.
physically, spiritually, emotionally,
Yeah.
online, all of it
Yeah. Yeah.
attributes to how you feel shame and guilt wise. And also just keep reminding yourself no one has it together.
Yeah.
No one has it together.